Welcome to Grasping the Word 24. Our verse for the last week of November is Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. Our English title, Deuteronomy, is traced back to the Greek Septuagint version of the Old Testament, where the title was given, which literally meant second law. This book revisits the Ten Commandments and the other laws. It consists of the final 3 sermons of Moses. Being near the end of his time, Moses rehearsed these things before the people, so they would not forget the commandments of the Lord, but would remember them. In the King James Version, the word remember is found 14 times in Deuteronomy. Likewise, the word forget is found numerous times, but usually admonishing the people not to forget. Beginning with our verse of the week, Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 2, Moses launches into a barrage of things that the people were not to forget and shows them the dire consequences if they do. In chapter 8, verse 11, they were not to forget the Lord their God in not keeping his commandments. To forget what is commanded is equated here with forgetting the commander himself, the Lord God. Moses further said, when you get into the promised land and prosper, and you forget the Lord your God, you will forget that it is he that brought you forth out of Egypt from bondage, led you through the wilderness, enabled you to pass through every hindrance, and brought water from a rock and fed you with manna. And notice verse number 17. And thou shalt say in thine heart, my power and the might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth. Verses 18 and 19 following, Moses says, but thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that hath given thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers as it is this day. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget the Lord thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them and worship them, I testify against you this day, that ye shall surely perish. It is so vital that we remember the word of the Lord and also remember what he has done. It was so important that Moses instructed Israel in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 6 through 9, these words, which I command thee this day, shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them upon the post of thy house and on thy gates. The bold proclamation of Psalm 77 and verse 11, I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. Not only the word or commandments of the Lord should be remembered, but here and in Deuteronomy, the works and the wonders of the Lord also. All of this remembering will help us to stay focused with our great God, the central figure of our lives. That helps us keep things in perspective. It helps us make better decisions. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. This can only happen by keeping the commandments, the works and wonders of the Lord at the forefront of our minds.